What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Sportorium Podcast. We got another hockey episode. Obviously, playoffs are starting today, so we're going to talk about the matchups, give our predictions, and let's start it off. All right, so first matchup we are going to talk about is the Colorado Avalanche against the first wild card Seattle Kraken.
All right. Yeah. So this one, all right, Seattle obviously kind of came out of nowhere, had a really good year. I don't think it's going to amount to anything. Might be a hot take. You know, they got some veteran presence on that team. Sure. They got some pretty good players and pretty young guys that are contributing well. However, Colorado is the defending champs. Colorado is still a powerhouse. They might have lost their goalie from last year and picked up Georgiev. Honestly, that might put them in better shape in net. I think at the end of the day, this is going to be a pretty easy turnaround. I have Colorado in five.
I have Colorado in five as well. I just think when the Avs top players get going, it's like they're almost unstoppable. In the last few weeks of the season, they've just been on fire. Like Miko and McKinnon just been tearing it up. I mean, I haven't seen Seattle play too much this year, but I mean, I don't know. This would be the biggest upset, I think, in all the playoffs if they beat Colorado.
Yeah, I'm definitely going the Avs too. They're just they had a lot of injuries to start the year, and then now everybody's starting to get healthy and everything, and McKinnon's obviously at full strength. And they've just been turning it around and ended up, I mean, it's 109 points when they were in a wild card spot for a while. So they're just getting hot at the right time. And I don't think it's to say that the Kraken are bad. They're a very good team, but it's just that the Avs are that much better.
Yeah, and I think the Avalanche kind of started off wrong because they had a lot of injuries to start the year. And I don't know how many, like you guys both said, I don't really follow Seattle all that much, right? But I don't think they had nearly as much detriment to them as Avalanche had all year. They did pretty well, honestly, throughout the season. They had a pretty damn good record. I'm looking at it now. They had 100 points this year, which is I wouldn't have expected them to get 100 points, especially in a Pacific division that's pretty polarizing, I guess. You know, there's pretty hard hitters in that division. So seeing them come out of that with 100 points is pretty impressive. But not to beat the dead horse or anything, like James said, I think this would be one of the bigger upsets if the Seattle pulled it off, or if the Kraken pulled it off.
Yeah, I also think it's a little misleading with their 100 points because it's I feel like the West, nobody plays defense.
Right.
If Seattle's in the East, I don't know if they make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually.
That's a good point.
So next, we're going to head into the matchup of the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild.
This matchup I actually love. And
Yeah, me
James
too.
and I kind of talked about it not too long ago, but Dallas has been just a powerhouse for a couple of years. I think they're arguably one of the best defensive teams in the league. And on top of that, have a phenomenal top six forward group. I think at the end of the day, Minnesota's got just a little more firepower than Dallas has in terms of defensive structure. If we have a fully healthy Minnesota team, I'm pretty certain that Minnesota will take it in six. I don't know though. Like I said, you know, a lot of these West teams are they're run and gun, you know, and Dallas is one of the only, I guess, odd sheep in that bunch where they are not a run and gun offense. They're more calculated, more controlled. Ottinger in net is phenomenal. So, I mean, if he has a playoffs like he did last year, he could really shut it down. They could get him to the Western Conference Final. But I think Minnesota, coming off that initial high of the regular season, I think they could take it in six.
Yeah, I got Dallas in six, but like you said, this series could go kind of either way. And feeding off what you just said, Ottinger, I think is a key factor but I mean, Minnesota has Gustafsson, who's been unreal this year. He's not really getting the credit he deserves. That's why I think this series is gonna be great. It's two great goalies going at it. But I don't know. I just think Dallas, their team, like you said, they have a lot of structure to their style compared to a lot of the West teams like Edmonton or Colorado.
Would it be fair to say that this is the best goaltending matchup out of the West?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I
It
don't think
probably
the
is.
West really has too many great goalies.
Yeah, I really think like maybe Georgiev is second best or third best out of these three. Um, yeah, I kind
Yeah.
of forgot about Gustafson. He has had a phenomenal year.
Yeah. Because he didn't, I think he didn't play like too many games compared to a lot of the other goalies. I think maybe he had like 30 something games.
I don't, if Logan Thompson's healthy, it's probably Knights Jets for the best goaltending matchup, I think.
I
It's
don't
a
even think he's playing.
yeah, I don't know. And like Quick has looked okay, but
Um,
whatever. We'll get into that game in a second.
yeah,
But
and back to like what I think Dallas is the second best team in the West aside from Colorado. So
Hmm.
I just think they also picked up like a guy like Domi like to fill like that third line wing role, which is like huge. I mean, they have someone like Pavelski he's been in deep playoff runs before. He's went to a Stanley Cup. You got like someone like Robertson who just had a monster year. I don't know, but then again, like it's you look at Minnesota and they got guys like Kaprizov, Matt Boldy who just started turning it up. I think Eriksson Ek still hurt.
Yeah, I think they were dealing with some injuries. I know Kaprizov was hurt at one point during this year,
Yeah, he's back now.
so
I
he
think
yeah, he
he
like
Zuccarello
came
too.
back and then like he stopped playing too. That might have just been rest, but I don't think he's like 100% yet.
could have been. I do like this matchup though. This is, I mean, it's definitely. I think it's a tie between this and the Vegas Winnipeg matchup as being the two best matchups in the West. But I don't know. The whole West is kind of not a bad setup right now. It's a little bit better than it was last year.
Yeah, I feel like any of the matchups go either way aside from like Colorado.
Yeah. I'd probably go Stars and 7 just because like there are some injury concerns with the Wild right now. There are a lot of their top forwards that are I mean, question marks to are they really healthy at this point? I really don't even know about Eriksson Ek if he's going to be healthy. But I think that they're just so structured and such a good defensive team that they'll be able to limit that offense for the Wild. But I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way. All right, and now heading to the Vegas Golden Knights against the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, this one I have a really hot take for this one. I think Vegas is uh, just wagon. I mean, they have a team that's like willing and ready to take over and just roll through the playoffs. Winnipeg, I felt like, yeah, they had a really hot end of the year, but I think that Vegas might end up even coming close to a sweep on this one because they just, I mean, Jack Eichel, we've yet to see Jack Eichel in the playoffs. Like, it is
Yeah,
going to be incredible watching this kid. And I mean, I watched him in person when I was in college, and when he gets a little bit of fire, a little bit of pressure under him, he's actually like an intense performer. So, um, I think I think that offense could take over, and I mean, just collectively altogether. The one question would be goaltending, right? Hellebuck is a monster in net, so there's Winnipeg obviously wins that battle. However, I think almost every battle except maybe that first line for Winnipeg takes over. Should be a good one. This is one of those run and gun, high scoring affairs that we I wouldn't expect to see under 5 goals a game for any of the games that are going to be played. I'm expecting at least 5+ goals for every game.
yeah, I actually completely agree with you. I have Vegas in 5. I think Winnipeg will win one at home just because they have a good like crowd in Winnipeg, and I really think Winnipeg's like the worst team in the playoffs. I don't think they're a good team. Aside from like their top line, like I would not be scared of anybody on their team. I couldn't even name you one person on their third or fourth line. Like,
They have Rangers legend Morgan Barron playing for them.
yeah,
He's
that
like
should
an
tell you
AHL
something.
forward at best,
Yeah,
honestly.
that should tell you something right there. I
Yeah,
mean, Kyle Connor's an absolute beast.
Shifley
Shifley's
Joyful
good.
too.
too.
I mean,
Blake
yeah,
Morrissey's having a
Wheeler. I
good year
mean,
too.
what'd you say?
Josh Morrissey's having a good year
Yeah,
in D.
that's true. He's having a Norris candidate type
yeah.
year.
I think Vegas. pretty much destroys them here. But
And something that we did not add was the addition of Mark Stone, who he's
oh
healthy.
yeah,
Just somehow out of nowhere, as soon as the playoff starts, he got healthy.
yeah, and they just confirmed he's playing
Yeah,
game one.
Is that
ridiculous.
game one tonight?
I think tomorrow.
Oh damn! I wonder which games are
Yeah,
tonight.
it's tomorrow.
The games tonight are the Islanders, Hurricanes, Boston, Panthers, Wild, Stars, I believe.
Yep.
And then the late game is the Kings, Oilers. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 30-goal game. You can already.
And
tell.
we'll get into it when we
Yeah,
talk
sorry,
about the Boston game.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you guys. I just think that the Knights are amazing. Plus, they're adding even more talent. Like you said, the only thing would be the goaltending, but either way, I think the Knights are just a better team overall. I'd say probably in 5 as well. All right, and now the last matchup in the Western Conference. This is my favorite matchup in the West. It's the Oilers and the Kings.
All right, I respectfully disagree.
That's
It's
fine.
your opinion and it's wrong. No, that's fine. This is going to be a good matchup. This is probably my second favorite matchup. I hate the Kings. Hate them, obviously. So anything that the Oilers could do, if McDavid wants to go out there and score 7 goals a night, that'd be
Oh,
fine.
he could do that.
He absolutely could. I mean, the Kings just don't have it to take on the high power offense of Evander Kane, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, and oh wait, yeah, the generational talent that is Connor McJesus. There's no chance. I mean, yeah, they're a good team, and sure, I think they split the season series or something. Whatever it is, Edmonton's gonna wipe the floor with them. They have, they have the playoff experience from last year. They did a deep run last year. I mean, it's hard to take that for granted, right? Like they were in the Western Conference Finals last year. And did it go to game 7 or game 6 with Colorado?
No, I think I went 5 games.
Oh, all right. Screw that. Well, anyway, that's only because Colorado is straight wagon. But
yeah, McDavid.
I have Edmonton in 6 only because LA is like a weird team that can control certain games. They've really hard forechecking and really aggressive like attacking pressure. But Edmonton's gonna just end up, and like I said a few minutes ago, I wouldn't expect tonight's game to go like it's going to be that 11 p.m. Oh, there's the 15th goal in the first 30 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes. Neither team has great goaltending. Neither team has the Oilers have probably the worst defense in the league, but or at least out of playoff teams. But Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid, and Leon Draisaitl is Leon Draisaitl, and so on and so forth. So Oilers in 6.
Yeah, this series was great last year when they played in the first round, I think it was. Yeah, I got Edmonton at 7. I just don't see McDavid going out in the first round. He's just really that good. I mean, he's done everything in the league now except for win a Stanley Cup. So, he's going to be even hungrier than ever. And I think the reason it's going to go 7 is just because the Oilers could easily win in 5, but their goaltending's god awful. It's like we've seen it all year. For them to win games, they have to score 5 goals. It's just like I've never seen an organization fail to build around such a good player before.
I have a big question for you, Steve. I'm sorry before cutting you off.
All right.
If the Oilers lose this game or this series, if they lose this series, what happens? I think we might have the biggest blow up in history of sports, like ever. I seriously think Leon Draisaitl might get moved if they don't win this series against the Kings. Especially, I definitely think their coach is going to be gone, right? Because it's been a few years now of this just powerhouse duo accompanied by whomever. I think Draisaitl might get moved if they can't find a way. Definitely Darnell Nurse if they could somehow shed that contract. $8.5 million a year for a straight up pylon who's now going to score a hat trick tonight because I said this. But if they lose this series, I really think it'll blow up the Oilers. I think eventually it's going to be like, oh yeah, when McDavid decided to go to Toronto in free agency? Oh, it was because that time that they lost to the Kings in 2023 and they blew up the team after that.
The Kings aren't a bad team though this year.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying how many years in a row are you going to have the same issues
I
of
mean,
bad goaltending, bad defense, and two superstars, two of the best players on the planet playing on the first line?
I don't know. Call up the Maple Leafs and ask them. They know something about that.
That's really true.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty true.
The reason that this is my favorite matchup is just there's so much so much energy around it. Like Drew Doughty just said today, like they're gonna. What did he say exactly? You sent
Basically,
it.
said they're gonna run McDavid.
Yeah, like if they get the opportunity to, they're just gonna murder him.
Because
So-
I honestly I wasn't sure what they were referring to, but apparently McDavid hit somebody on the Kings earlier in the year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
don't
forgot.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then
I'm
like
looking
that,
at it
and then
now.
plus like last year, obviously, like there's just so much like aggression there, and there's just gonna be so much energy, and I'm
mean,
very excited.
Yeah, McDavid's a little hard to take a run at. He'll probably
Yeah.
miss in the process.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he's
like
just gonna
who
skate
on the
around you.
Oilers is going to come back at Doughty? I feel like the Oilers don't have a tough guy.
I don't know. They used to.
They, of course, they used to, but I mean, yeah, Doughty. If we get a chance to smack them, we're gonna do it, or smack him, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Just wait until Zach Hyman is skating down the ice, and he's gonna throw some haymakers.
I mean, anyone on the team's gonna fight for McDavid. So
They should.
Yeah, that's true. I'd fight for McDavid.
Drew Doughty's also kind of like not really like a tough guy. He like tries to be one, but he's not.
He's a lot of
got-
talk and not a
He's
lot
got
of bite.
experience, though.
He's been
Yeah.
running from Tkachuk for like years now.
Chuck actually is his father. All right, so that is the Western Conference predictions. So I guess we'll see. But hope you guys enjoyed. Till next time.